Oops. It's probably a little too loud, given that it's 6 in the morning and I have neighbors. Anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna make that a little piece of my content from now on, just little licks and whatnot. Yeah. So let's get right into this motherfucker real quick. Um, Welcome to the channel. If you're new, blah 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 blah. Like button, subscribe. I don't give a shit. You do whatever you want to do. If you think I'm worthy of a like and subscribe, great. If not, go fuck yourself. Okay, so I got a few points I want to cover here. Um, so where the fuck did that go? Here we go. All right. I've had a lot of people ask me to do some TA and just some chart analysis, and I've always been for that. There's always kind of been a misconception between me and TA that people have. So technical analysis, if you're new, real quick, is just a means of analyzing the chart and numbers that have to do with a stock's movement. And there's always been a debate between fundamentalists and technicalists. Technalists? Is that a word? It is now. So if this were any other stock, I'd be more than happy to do a TA, or at least I'd have a little bit more. I'd have less resistance in doing so. But I've been a firm believer that this thing has been stuck in a cycle ever since January, and maybe even sooner. That has been inescapable for those who had shorted it. This goes for GameStop as well. There's a lot that I have to piece together on paper, mathematically and in my head, more importantly. To substantiate that claim. But I do feel as though this kind of solidifies it, at least a part of it. There's only so much that I can express through charts, but TA is still important. But for things like GameStop and AMC, I think that TA doesn't quite capture the magnitude of what these things are, and I think that TA kind of subverts from what the true indicators are, and what ultimately what the point of TA is, which is to understand where you're at in certain movements and the ebbs and flows of the equities market. I think that the fundamentals and what gets labeled as conspiracy actually bears more significance than that of the charts, but fuck it. All right. Yeah, so let me get rid of this nonsense and madness. We're gonna start off basic, and then I'm gonna get into my main points. For those that view this as something worthy of TA, or that TA is worthy of, let's just go ahead and do a basic fib level analysis, some supports and resistances, and just kind of track the current trend. So as far as fibs go, we're in a downward trend. So I'm gonna go over here to the fib tool. And where the fuck did that go? Fib retracement. Okay, we take the top of our trend and throw it to the bottom, and oh god, oh fuck, here we go again. Oh, I already have one up. Okay, well, despite all the other madness that I have going on here, let's do this, and this, and this. And I'm on the log chart. This is better suited to more efficiently capture and remove the noise of trends, because when you go to the standard non-log chart, things can get a little finicky, just because movements can be exaggerated, and depending on what context you're looking at to analyze, sure, it can help and it adds more granularity to the picture, but I like to always just use the log chart. So we're gonna stick with that, and I do have the fib levels set to adjust to the log scale. So we're actually bouncing off of what would be the last bit of our fib ratios. If we were to break past here, that would be extremely bearish. Now don't bring out the torches and the fucking pitchforks for me yet. I do think that, again, with my philosophy of TA doesn't quite capture what's going on here, I think that would come into play before that final fib shattering would do anything. But regardless of that, we are bouncing off of this fairly well. And given our last bounces that we thought we were going through, like right here at the what level is this? This would be the third level. Yeah, yeah. So the third level, it looked like we had an okay bounce, but nothing that shows the strength of this. Because when you go to something like a, just look at candles. You can see that we have a lot of volume that's going on here, more so than the bounce that we tried to have up here. And you see this candle in particular. This really goes to show how much this thing wanted to save itself and those behind it, if that's the thing you're into. Again, I don't think TA quite captures what's going on with these stocks, but nonetheless, you do see that there was a swift revival and resurrection of itself at the 34.29 level. Still technically in a downward trend. If we pull up the RSI and the MACD, the bread and butter of TA, we can see that we're starting to bounce off of that bearish channel of what's considered to be in the RSI. RSI stands for Relative Strength Index. Basically serves as just a general idea of where the stocks movement is headed. Anything, oh fuck, can you even see it? You can't see it because my gorgeous model idiotic face is in the way. Let's fix that. Fuck. Yep, just make sure we fix that. Okay, so as you can see, based off of the symmetrical facial proportions, the absolutely luxurious hair, I'm going to shut the fuck up now and give you what you really want, because this face doesn't make the money it deserves. Okay. So the RSI, typically, anything that is measured at 70 above is considered to be a bullish zone. Anything that is 30 and below is considered to be bearish. And the channel bounces between 0 and 100. All right. So we're actually in the middle of bouncing off of what's considered to be the bearish side of RSI. And then if you look at the MACD, and real quick to recap, the MACD stands for Moving Average Convergence and Deconvergence, or Divergence. Oops, English. And essentially what it does is it's taking a sample of the moving average from a long term relative to what the other will be, but I think this is set up for a 714, 12 and 26. So this blue line is sampling from the last 12 candles, right? So if I'm on the 2 hour, it's taking the last 12 candles. If I'm on the 1 hour, it's taking the last 12 candles. As you adjust that granularity, you're going to get either a bigger or a smaller picture as to what's going on. The 2 hour is typically a good one to measure, I'd say, the next 1 to 2 weeks worth of trading. It sounds counterintuitive, but these movements typically ripple off of each other. You fucking idiot. They ripple and cascade. So, anywho, so this blue line is representative of, I think of it as like another RSI, right? For the last 12 iterations of candles. The orange line is your RSI for the last 24 or 26. I've been smoking too much weed. The last 26. So what this is saying is the blue line is the most recent sentiment, and the orange line is the longer going sentiment. If the more recent sentiment overtakes the longer ranging sentiment, that means that the desire for this in someone's portfolio is greater than that of which it was 26 days ago or 26 candles ago. So shorter term desirability has gone up, and the longer term desirability looks like it's also going up. But anytime you see a crossover happen where the shorter term is going over from under the longer term, that is a bullish signal to not only idiotic sex-driven meat sacks with brains like you and me, but is also a bullish signal to algorithms and automated trading. So that's a big deal either way. Yeah, so we see that we're witnessing that right now, where the the shorter term desirability has overtaken right here the longer term, and of course you see a movement reciprocate, right? So this crosshair that you see on my screen, this goes over every pane that I have pulled up here. So right when we have that convergence, you see a giant candle, a nice giant green motherfucking candle. And just to solidify that a little bit more, so I just switched from the 2-hour to the 15-minute candle set. It's still capturing the same movement, but with more granularity. It's like watching a video in 720p to now what you could call 1080 or 1440p. Actually, technically, that math works out to like 4K, but fuck it, you get the point. So right when we see these crossovers, we see bullish green upward tendy movement, right? Rippy. Okay. So overall, I'd say the sentiment is we're starting to go from bearish to bullish, which is a very important moment for any stock, but especially this one. Not financial advice, by the way, nor collectivifying or identifying any group of traders as being conspiratorial or collectively intended. Okay. Yeah, so very much, I want to say bullish, preemptively bullish. We'll put it that way. This is the part where bears and bulls are going to settle what they want to do with the stock. Very, very, very key moment. But that's also going off of the basis that this somehow has to do with organic sentiment from the market. And that's not quite what I think is happening. So I just realized this video has gone to almost 13 minutes. I'm going to cut it here. In the next video, which I'm going to be recording literally right after this and probably posting right after this one goes up, I'm going to explain the cycle, the fractals, and why I think this is in a recursive pattern that has just utterly lost control or has gained ridiculous control relative to those who are responsible for it. So enough with myself verbally jacking myself off. I'm going to cut it here. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. And fuck you, motherfucker. You motherfucking god, motherfucking damn it. Where's the stop recording button? Found